Good morning. Welcome to day 21 of Momo Strategy in the simulator. Looks like there's not much going on this morning. I hope that isn't a continuation from yesterday, so that we're not sitting around all day doing nothing again. The KIDZ has a little bit of volume at 7 a.m., but it's cheaper price. MLEC was our leading gainer, but it just finished selling off a little bit after getting a bit of volume and rejecting off of 1150. So it appears that we're playing the waiting game again. CLYM popping up at 7 a.m. I'm not sure if it has news or not, but it is higher float, 41 million shares. Not sure if higher float is becoming a theme. Usually we don't see this many higher floats popping up. SKLZ also popping up with a 12 million share float. CLYM has private placement news. 110 million private placement. It is a biotech stock. And that daily level is 1155. Is right there. And then high of day is 12. So yesterday, I sat around all day refusing to trade these higher float stocks. And they moved pretty well. And I was right to do so because it doesn't really fit within my strategy. This is also a higher float stock, and it's actually double the float that the stocks had yesterday. Yesterday they were around 20 million. This one has 40 million shares of float. And when you're trading a higher float stock, for it to make a big move, you need to have the proper volume. Right now, this stock only has 50,000 shares of volume as its peak. So I don't think I'm interested in this one. I'll have to wait. I'm really not interested in very much this morning. I'm not interested in anything at all, actually. The S&P 500, we've just kind of been going sideways here. Broke through the all-time highs, but we haven't been going very much higher. It's been a bit slow. We gapped down this morning and are going downwards a bit. US oil gapped up. So that tells me that there's a little bit of uncertainty today. Considering the way the market's been yesterday, the way the market looks today. It's like we're in for a cold day. Now, I've been thinking about starting my small account challenge on Monday with real money. And the reason for that was because I went back through my metrics and I realized that I am technically profitable. After all of the changes that I made, I am still at least break even. But with the changes that I've made in the past month as I've been back testing my strategy, if I'm optimistic, I would say that I'm still profitable with about a 60% accuracy and a 1.5 profit to loss ratio. It's not too bad. What was holding me back from actually being profitable, there's a few things. The first thing was the fact that I was trading those curling patterns during a gold market. I gave back probably over $100 of my profit just on curling patterns alone. So we took that out. I was at the very beginning of the back testing, before my first intermission, I believe. So we took those out. That's a problem solved. Another problem was my overtrading. Despite the overtrading everything, I still have like a 58% accuracy. So we're solving that by raising our quality standard, especially with the VWAP setups. I'm significantly raising my quality standard on those. The next problems that I was having were fumbling some of my order entries, but I've been getting used to that. And I went back and I looked over all of the trades that I labeled as emotional trades. The biggest ones, which I just fixed, were from higher price stocks. So I reduced my risk on higher price stocks down to 1%. So my max risk is 2%. And my max risk on higher price stocks is 1%. So we dealt with that. And that should help us significantly reduce our drawdowns as well. Some of my other emotional trades were, losing half back and then jumping in, or losing a bunch and then jumping in. And I've created rules to help those. But overall, the main problem I'm going to be facing going forward, assuming that I don't find anything else in my strategy that needs to be changed eventually, but it should probably be mostly dealt with. But if I don't find anything else, then the main problem will be emotional discipline. And that is something that is better done with real money than in the simulator, because they're two different worlds. I would like to prepare myself for May. So I have been thinking of starting live with real money on Monday. But given this cold market, might be okay to even delay it by a week. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. If it continues to be just there's nothing, and we have several no trade days, or maybe like a couple no trade days and a red day, and then I might have to extend another week in the simulator until there's at least something going on. We'll see though. I did go back and watch some more of Ross's educational videos on his website. He talks about scaling into trades, scaling into the week, scaling into the month. And I think those would be some good strategies. I'm already scaling into the trades, into the day, but maybe scaling into the week and scaling into the month with real money is a good idea as well. This looks like a little bounce off the low, dead cat bounce after that last move, unless it has some news that I don't know about. I'm not particularly interested in this unless I see some news in the next second. You can see this looked to be a first pullback, second pullback, but it rejected off of 7. It didn't have enough strength. Hey, what are you doing back there? My dog is like licking himself with ferocity back there. Crazy dog. So while we're waiting for something to pop up, I might as well open up my trader view and show a little bit of it so that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. In particular, because I've got nothing else to do. And I don't think I'm going to do an intermission this weekend. So we're going to go to trading recaps. So upon first glance, right? Let's see, let's make sure there's no filters. No, yeah, we're good. My P&L doesn't look very good, does it? So we got a nice trade on ARTL, and then we just kind of go draw down, go sideways, draw down, go sideways, draw down, and then this was the last drawdown from last week. So after commissions, if I was trading with real money, this would be a break-even P&L with this big outlier here. $148 with 100 trades. So it'd be about break even, 48% accuracy. Not the greatest, right? The thing is, when I trade live with real money, the main setups I'm going to be focusing on are going to be the high of day squeeze, breaking news, gap and goes. These 4. My accuracy increases to 56% with $300 of profit, right? Part of that is because I filtered out those 2 emotional trades. I gave back half of my profits. That's not going to happen again. I can guarantee that. When I get a slap in the face like that, I fix it very quickly, and I did fix it by changing my maximum risk, especially on higher price stocks. And that's also part of getting used to the keybinds as well. Now I have dedicated keybinds for whatever price I'm buying. A is for my bread and butter, 2 to 10. Q is only for $1 stocks, or if I want to get in with max position size, if I'm being really aggressive. W is for high price stocks because it's only 10 shares. S is for if I want to get in with 1/8 size, it's 25 shares. So if I want to take a 1/8 size starter, if I'm not sure about something, and then add to it to quarter size if something is working, then I can do that. So I have dedicated keybinds for that now. So it's still a 1.5 profit to loss ratio. It's still 56% accuracy in the cold market that we've been having. I believe that my accuracy is going to go up as I continue to trade with my quality standard raised because I was over trading during the first half of the challenge. Now, if I add a couple of the VWAP setups, the bear trap and the test have been working a little bit. As long as it's on the front side or on a stock that's up a lot in the day. 57% accuracy with $450 of profit is, the peak. So if you take out the emotional trades, my P&L actually looks pretty decent. Even though there's some of these little bigger bits of drawdowns, that'll be reduced with my change in max risk. So it's actually not too bad. So the main thing that I'm going to be dealing with, that I'm going to have to overcome soon, is going to be, taking advantage of stocks when they pop up. Because I'm raising my quality standard, I do need to take advantage when I see an opportunity and scale into them. And then I'll be dealing with my emotions, which is better done in live trading than it is in the simulator. I do get some emotions while I'm in the simulator because I want to be successful, but it's not going to be as significant as it will be with real money. And once again, if I take out all of the stuff that I don't like, my calendar looks pretty good as well. I'm going to swap back over here. SkyQ is continuing to move up. Like I said, this seems more like a dead cat bounce. So, I don't see any news on it. I don't really know. I'm not that interested in it. It does have increasing volume. I just know that the moment I get in it, though, it's going to reverse on me. I'm going to be mad. That's another thing that I didn't consider until I read Ross's chat, is that this is a fossil fuel company. So the other reason why this could be going up is because US oil is going up today. And these energy stocks haven't been very easily traded in the past, especially SkyQ. You can see oil price in the past 20 minutes has been skyrocketing here from 139 to 141. I suppose when you think of it in that manner, that we know what the catalyst is that US oil is going up, then you could buy for the break of 720 and then just let it ride. I'm not really interested in buying it up here though. Yeah, and it's another energy stock popping up. Must be some news about the oil sector. I'm just not really interested in trading these oil stocks. Q and BATL do have a lot of short interest. So it's almost 7:30. We're gonna wait for 7:30. If I were to trade these, probably the best way to trade the fossil fuel stocks would be to keep USO on a side chart. And if it continues to go up, then you can probably expect these to continue to go up. But if it goes down or pulls back, then these might pull back. Watching the news. It's interesting that both BATL and SkyQ kind of dumped at the same time here. US oil is still holding the 9 EMA. The last candle was red. Now it's coming back up a little bit. Don't see any 7 a.m. news. .30 a.m. I mean, hmm. It looks to be another slow, slow day. Odd that YouTube is saying that my bitrate is lower than it actually is. And OBS says my audio bitrate is higher than what it recommends. That is odd. This might be another Slay the Spire day. It's I really don't have anything on watch. Nothing moving. So we're just sitting tight. See, what character do I want to play? Regen has been the hardest for me. I only have him on Ascendance 3. Silent, Binder, both 5. Defect and Ironclad are both 4. I did Ironclad on stream. I did Silent on stream. I did Necrobinder as well. I'm gonna do Silent on stream. I don't remember. Let's try doing Defect, I guess. Choose rare cards? Sure. A defrag's kind of OP, so. Let's see. Like campfires is this guy. So if I go here, 1, 2, I can get 3 of them. 3 if I go that way. I'll have to go through 2 shops. Probably this path. I have to go through 2 bosses this way, but probably do it if I get good cards. Go EXR. Okay. What's going on here? As news. Receives official authorization. Got a low float. It's got room to 200. Up 38%. It is moving quickly. I'm not sure what that headline is, but it looks like it's moving pretty significantly. Okay, that's fast. Up 100%. A big topping tail on the 1 minute. We're up 100% in an instant. It's our leading gainer. But I would like to wait for proper pullback on this now. I was considering getting in it early on there. But I wasn't sure. This touch and go market has been a little bit difficult because, I mean, who could expect that something would pop up 150% like that in the market that we've been having today? It's been so cold that I'm like, I'm not sure about this headline. It's an Israel company. The daily doesn't look that great. Looks like Ross made a little bit of money on it. See what happens here. Now that we've got a proper pullback. It's a little bit scary though. It's got a couple of big topping tails. The first candle to make a new high would be for the breakthrough 450. I wonder if I need to go back through my VODs and kind of review parabolic price action, because what I'm worried about, I was waiting for a second pullback here, but it never happened. ERFX. What's going on with this? Another Israel company. Because I was waiting for a second pullback here to get in, but it never really happened. May have pulled back very, very briefly here around the $0.5 and whole dollars, but not long enough for it to be a proper pullback on the 10-second. So maybe if I start seeing it go from 350 all the way up to 4 like that in a single candle, after it starts pulling away, I could have gotten in at 4. It would have went all the way to 550. I was worried that I was too extended up here. Maybe I need to identify when price is going parabolic like that and just jump in. Maybe even with small share size. If I jumped in with 25 shares there, I mean, that's $1 a share or more. Still a cushion on the day, even if it's not a huge breadwinner. So NEXR, we got a big bottoming tail on this here. We're rejecting off, view up a little bit. I have that candle as 390. Got some sellers at 399. Seconds left on that 5-minute candle. I'm going to take a small starter looking for the breakthrough 4. We're breaking down, so I'm just going to get out. I was hoping that we would we would either break there or we would bounce off of VWAP, forming this 5-minute candle here as a hammer. But we ended up breaking down for some reason. I had given it a little bit more room to move because I was only in with 25 shares. But I gave it a little bit too much room to move almost. 30 cents. Okay, so we're coming back up here. Take a starter looking for the breakthrough 4. Top is 390. And now we have to wait for the break. We're just continuing to reject. Yeah, I'm wondering why there's such heavy resistance at 4 here. Um, I also didn't expect it to go parabolic like that at the start of its move. It was kind of crazy. I'm waiting for the breakthrough 4. Or do we break through here or do we reject again? Like we're rejecting again. We're almost crossing over on the MACD. It's kind of crazy that Ross was up. I think he was up like 15,000 on it or something, and now he's almost basically break even again. Stock is rough. It could be maybe here at 4. There's just a bunch of bag holders. Let's see, we're bouncing off the 9 EMA on the 2-minute again. Looks like we do have some support down there. We bounced off it once already, which is the kind of the same thing as the 20 EMA on the 1-minute, a little bit. kind of forming a small doji here. We are coming up to 8 a.m. though for news as well. So given that move, we might see a little bit of FOMO on the next stock that has news. ATE are popping up, but it's too high of a float. It's a low price stock. It is moving quickly though, 58% almost instantly, 80 cents up to $1.10. But it's kind of dumping. Here's a bit of a curl. Given that entry candle on the 2-minute, I'm going to take a starter here. Top is 380. I'm going to look to see if it holds VWAP here. It's just a small 25 share starter. I'm just going to wait to see if the retest holds. And if it breaks 4, then I'll add. But if it continues rejecting off of 4, then I get out. Because we got that nice entry candle on the 2-minute there. So just back out. Now we've got a nice entry candle in the 1 minute, but it's a bit of a divergence from the 2 minute here. So we got a topping tail in the 2 minute. So now I'm just going to wait for the breakthrough 4 again, because it seems like we got some heavy resistance up here. SCGG from 8K news. Too cheap, price too high. Ooh, Ross is holding a 20,000 share position right now at 389. That's not good. Hopefully it ends up coming back up for him, but I think he got a little bit frustrated. That he gave back all of his profits on the first pop. I'm going to leave my order up at around 427 if it ends up breaking. Otherwise, it's really hard to trust around 4 now. Oh, really? That's interesting. Oh, that's no good. And my trading view is still working fine. Um, it kind of looks like Ross's chart is almost frozen too. Oh no, it's moving. It could be Webull specific or maybe some sort of software they use. Does Webull use DAS or do they have their own software? No, it has its different platform. Okay. Yeah, I'm listening to Ross's stream. He's talking about it. Yeah, Weeble, Ocean, a couple others. So, on this stock, I'm only $10 red right now, which isn't, that's not too bad. As long as we get some opportunities, I can easily make that back. Question is, it's just whether or not we're going to get more opportunities today. But I'm trying to anticipate these breaks through flat tops. I don't think my entries back here were bad. I think I did hold a little bit too long in that first entry back here. But it looked like a good candle on the 2-minute and on the 5-minute. I thought for sure that we would break through 4 and go up to 450. I don't think the problem there was my entries. Even Ross ended up getting smoked on some of these entries, trying to anticipate the break. I think the problem was that I held for too long in the first one. Otherwise, I would just be maybe like $5 in the red right now, rather than $10. But $10 still isn't that bad. Max loss is still $50. So as long as we get more opportunities, it should be simple to make it back. We'll just have to wait. Yeah. And usually speaking, that's going to create a bias to the short side because most of those brokers that I think they're mentioning are mainly retail traders that trade to the long side because they don't have as much shares available to borrow. Usually some of the bigger brokers like Cobra and Guardian, I think are a couple of them that have a wider range of shares available to borrow. I don't know if those ones are still working or not. But we might just be going sideways for a bit. Or just going on downtrend. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. It was a little bit weird up here. Like how is it that we come up with 100,000 shares of volume, reject, come back up, but the second time it came up, it only came up with 20,000 shares of volume back here at 802. This was the second time I got in. But it managed to just break back through VWAP with 18,000 shares and then just kind of come back down 19, 13, 17. Yeah, you're probably right about that. How is it that this stock could have such light volume after going up 150%? So This actually looks really good on the 5 minute here, but I'm not sure if I can trust it until it breaks through 4. Especially since we've been having problems. Turb popping up with news. This is not particularly great stock to trade. It only has, like, its relative volume is very low because this is a stock that pops up with news all the time. Like it's trying to take advantage of that AI style of headline. I'm not sure if I'm interested. I'll keep it on a side chart, but I'm not too optimistic about Turb. Oh, I see. That's interesting then. I'll probably continue trading with like 1/8 size until things start working then. So we've got 50 seconds left on that 5 minute candle on NEXR. FTech coming out with news, but the higher float, lower priced. So we popped through there for a second, but then we reject on NEXR. Yeah, for sure. I'm still gonna trade because it's just a simulator. It's not a big deal. Even if I lose a bit of money, but I am gonna trade with 1/8 size, just with 25 share starters until the trade actually begins working, as I have been doing. But definitely not really a good time to be trading with real money, that's for sure. At 8 minutes to 8:30, we've been slowly kind of curling up on the MACD on any XR. Let's see what it does here. We're coming back up to 4. MACD is close to turning positive. Yeah, I mean, uh, not just the traders who are actually unable to trade because their brokers aren't letting them, but also the traders who are uncertain to the long side about what's going on. If they realize that other brokers are having issues, then they're also going to realize that there's not as much volume coming through in some of these spikes. It's very light volume for a curl on the 1 minute compared to earlier. You'd see the decreasing volume on this thing. So they're going to be uncertain and they're not going to be as likely to jump in. So overall, it is kind of a bad time. So this definitely isn't the time to anticipate breaks. It's more or less the time to just wait for them. Just chill out until volume actually starts coming in and we actually have a break. So we break through there for a second. We got a bunch of sellers at 4. Question is, do we hold? Got a little bit more volume on that candle, 350,000. We got sellers there. Hmm. I'm going to take a small position. Stop is 4, the 25 shares. We immediately break down, which is annoying. The reason why I liked that there is because it held 4 for so long without breaking down, and we also have a green bodied candle on the 5-minute. But yeah, this price action is really weird. It might actually just be a time for hands off because yeah, it's definitely not trading like usual. After a flat top break there at 4, probably should have done more than what it did. That's very weird. Doesn't matter though. 3 cents and it was a 75-cent loss. My accuracy today is terrible, but it doesn't really matter to be honest. It happens every now and then. I remember back in I think it was September or October, uh, even Cloudflare was down, so day trade dash just wasn't working. Back when I used the charting software with day trade dash, we had that day where Cloudflare was working like on and off most of the day. And I don't remember about one from a couple months ago. Here's another thing that I just noticed is that I think the simulator is lagging too because I'm almost certain that I didn't buy at 3.99. I'd have to go back and look at the VOD, but I'm pretty sure I didn't buy at 3.99. I thought I bought at like 403 or 404. So even the simulator is lagging, I think. I don't know. Today might just be a dud. I'm considering honestly not even entering like if this continues the whole day, I'm considering not even entering my metrics for today because it doesn't really make sense to do that because the information if it's because we're not getting volume in the market, it's just kind of it's the opposite of a windfall. It's an extraordinary circumstance. With real money, I would have to eat this bullet, and it does happen occasionally. So maybe I leave it in, but it's definitely odd to have this happen. And I only have 1 month of my metrics at this point. Like right now, this would be a nice entry candle down here, but I don't trust it anymore. Do not trust what's going on right now. This one has a higher float, SNBR. 8:30 a.m. news. $17 million share float. We're right at daily resistance right here. I am almost feeling like higher float is a theme right now because we've been having so many higher float stocks pop up. Yeah, I'm looking at the simulator. Like I'm looking at my VOD. Right when I click the buy button for buy on the ask at 405, I filled according to the simulator at 399. So I don't really understand why, other than the fact that even the simulator is lagging. Yeah, there was also another instance where I filled at a different price. It's like 20 cents higher than the price I should have been filled at. Yeah, that's pretty bad lag. I'm gonna keep an eye on let's see. Amazon Web Services. Bia with the news. Hmm. Yeah, a lot of other people saying they're getting weird fills in the sim today. I think today is a dud, unfortunately. Kind of sucks after yesterday was a no trade day. Today's just a dud with the issues that everybody's been having. Unlucky. SBL X with 8:30 a.m. news. I have a partnership headline. Three seconds left on that 5-minute candle. I forgot that I had Slay the Spire open. I don't think I'm gonna continue this run. Because there is stuff I have on watch. And we didn't get very far. We broke through 3 there. The problem now is that it's hard for me to trust that anything's going to have enough volume to continue going higher. Some people saying that their brokers are working now. Apparently Trade Zero is one of the brokers affected, so if I was trading with Trade Zero, I probably wouldn't have been able to take any positions. What's the news on BIA? Candle looks nice on the 2-minute, but it's got high volume selling, especially on the 5-minute, which is giving me pause. along with the fact that it's a penny stock. I thought it would have worked. Any XR dumping now. Put a second retest on BIA. 126. Take a small starter on BIA. I'll add if it works. For maybe one. I'll sell half at 130. Looking for high of day here. Sell another half at 133. We're moving really slowly. Held the rest 130. Break just 1 cent above. Looks like it would have ended up working all the way up to 139. I suppose scaling doesn't really work as well with VWAP setups because it moves so slowly. The better option would have been for me to just buy 200 down at 124 for this. Sold half at 134 and then just let the rest ride. I had to sell the remainder there instead of being able to let it ride because I got in a little bit, like my average cost basis was a little bit too high for that pullback. I didn't want to have it go red. It was better to get in closer to VWAP, closer to support, even with quarter size. It doesn't matter. Today is a scratch day. So I'm not putting any of these metrics into my trading journal. Because of the issues. I'm actually going to turn my camera off and eat some breakfast. I haven't eaten anything today. So let's see how far this goes with using my theory of exit indicators. If I were to just hold until the first exit indicator. While I chew on something. So right there would have been an exit indicator because we broke down that level of support, which is 139. I guess technically that isn't a part of my 4 exit indicators. So maybe that should be added, but we'll see if it comes back up here. It didn't really drop down with high volume selling. So right there was your first exit indicator, that double top at around 144, 145. So my theory still holds here. It broke down the level of support, but it still came back up once to retest, and it double topped here. So you would sell, and then you would look for re-entry if it gives you a reason to do so. But still, we can guarantee that it's going to go on a little bit of a pullback here, even if it is just a micro pullback. You sell at like 142. Look for a micro pullback. So if I got in with 200 shares down here, it would have actually been probably about a 15-cent winner. If I had properly used my theory. And this would be a retest of VWAP setup. So we dropped down below VWAP, broke back up, retested it, formed an entry candle. Entry candle formed on both the 1, the 2, and the 5-minute closed. 5-minute candle closed. So all of the signs were there. The multi-time frame alignment was there. It didn't end up moving that much, but 15 cents for a penny stock is still pretty good. Just for instance, my max position size on a VWAP setup on a penny stock is 800 shares. 30 cents on 800 shares is quite a bit. Or sorry, 15 cents. 15 cents on 100 shares is 15 bucks times 8. 120 bucks. Pretty good. Like I said though, I don't trade breaking news pennies. I don't trade 5-day squeeze pennies. I only trade them VWAP setups because it's the only way that I can get in close to support. That's a very significant level of support. But this is an example of why I like the VWAP setups. So 9 a.m. Let's see if there's any news. Last chance for news. I'm not seeing anything. Hmm. Well, that's interesting. Apparently, we're still lagging a little bit in the sim. Today does kind of remind me, though, that I need to make sure I have a backup way to access my trades in case there's some sort of outage. Today was a situation that was on part of the broker's fault. The fact that AWS was down and that you can take trades, but say if my internet goes out, for example, I need to make sure for when I trade live with real money that I have a way to access the broker on my phone so I can close out the trade. Thing to keep in mind today. But I can't imagine you'd be very happy if you got in at the very top of any XR there as it squeezed up, maybe like 550, and then by the time you get regain access to your broker, it's all the way back down at 285 or 350 or whatever. Down 2 points. BB probably would be pretty pissed. And the XR curling back up a little bit. You can tell that this isn't usual price action because I've never, I think it's, I'm not sure if I've seen this before where I've seen a stock that pops up 150% and as it comes back down and sells off, it doesn't bounce off of the 20 EMA on the 5-minute. It usually at least kind of consolidates around the 20 EMA and tries to come back up. But it just broke down, broke through, and then went sideways again. Never seen this type of price action before. It's definitely not common. So now we're underneath both the 20 and the 9 here. So on this curl, it's going to have to try and break through these levels of resistance. So this price action kind of just goes to show how odd the market is today with its price action and how some of these brokers are intermittently losing connections. What breaks through there? Does it hold 310, 311? That's the question. Kia also looking to make a curl back up at the same time. Said before though that I don't like trading curling patterns during a cold market. It hasn't worked very well. So here on NEXR, we have a little bit of a level of support here. 266. -13 to 9:30. We're just waiting. MNDR popping up with 9:15 a.m. news. PIAF, a launch of a new study doesn't really mean anything. Hmm. Nothing really that interesting right now. And we got high volume selling in MNDR. I think if anything, I would be more interested in BIA right now than MNDR because of this retest of view op right now with that 5 minutes set up. But it's kind of trading with algorithms now. So another thing about NEXR is that apparently it was rebranded from JFBR. JFBR being a well-known kind of trashy stock. So if I had known that NEXR was JFBR, I wouldn't have touched it either. Even while it was going parabolic, I wouldn't have touched it. So that's another interesting thing to note. So today is going to be a scratch day. We're not going to include it in our metrics. At the open here, I wouldn't normally trade the opening bell, but since I'm not including today in my metrics anyways, and we're also like only down $2, which is basically nothing, I might trade at the open here for fun if I see an opportunity. For fun and for practice. I might take a gap and go trade on BIA. We'll see. But even if it's a winner, still not including today in the metrics because of the issues with Amazon Web Services. It's not useful to have this in my metrics if price isn't trading normally. You know, in the grand scheme of things, over a long period of time, we would have to deal with some days like this. But it's unknown. Like, it's hard to say whether or not I would be trading anything at all, because if I was in an actual live broker, I might not have been able to even take some trades. Even if I was able to take trades, it might end up being an anomaly where, say, I get into a trade and I suddenly don't have access to sell, and it would probably end up being a loss. Or on the flip side, maybe I get into a trade and it ends up going up like 50% while the broker's down somehow by some grace of God. Like, it's very hard to say what would happen if I was trading with an actual broker today, regardless of whatever happens in the sim here. So it's not useful. Like, today is not useful as a way to track my metrics. And that's kind of the mindset that I take whenever I include trades into my trading journal. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun here at the open if I see any opportunities, regardless of my rules. Since we're not trading with real money, if I was trading with real money, I'd be walking away probably much earlier than normal. Any issues with my broker with real money would mean I would be stopping immediately. Because we're in the simulator, it doesn't really matter. So any XR is curling back up a little bit, but I'm not as interested in it as I am in BIA right now. BIA being our third leading gainer. Take a look at, well, any XR is our second leading gainer, but it's still below VWAP right now, so it's not as interesting. Whereas this is kind of holding above, and I would think that surge of volume would cause a sudden imbalance. ATER is a bit lower priced. It is above VWAP. VR is 120, 125-ish. This is getting like it's close to $1. And it has a higher float. I like BIA more because of the lower float. But we will keep ATER on a side chart. So we're kind of going a bit early here. There would be an entry candle, like signal for an entry at 129 here between these two candles and the candle on the 2-minute. But I don't like to take trades that are very close to the opening bell. So we'll keep watching and see what happens. The first rule is don't trade the first 3 minutes of the open, the first 2 to 3 minutes. At least enough time for a 2-minute candle to close. But ideally, wait for the first 5-minute candle or wait for
A very obvious setup after the first 3 candles and 1 minute. So market is open in 5 seconds. I do find that this kind of mindset where you have a rule not to trade the first 2 minutes kind of helps you, or it prevents you from jumping in with FOMO. Like, for example, you see here, it was green for a second. It started going up for just a moment there. If you had any FOMO on it and it suddenly tanks like that, you're kind of going to get yourself frustrated. ATER ended up spiking from 110 to 125, so ATER would have worked. What's important is preventing the downside rather than capturing the upside. It's that risk-oriented mindset. Preserving profits instead of making them. So we're bouncing off of the 9 EMA there. We've got a nice candle on the 2 minute. So we saw how quickly price was moving for a $1 stock down here. Could have actually entered for the break back through VWAP as it was making a bottoming tail there. And even 136 up to 140, 144 would have been a little bit of profit. I didn't think that this would have the strength to break through high of day. So it would have only been like 10 cents. I'm waiting for this 5-minute candle to close, because I would like to see it break through that high of day for a little bit of a bigger move. Excuse me. And we were still only on our second candle here, so it's a little bit riskier. We break through there. So we break 150. 10 seconds left. Let's see if we hold 150. So we hold. So I'll take a position at 154. Stop is 152. Looking for the squeeze up. 40 seconds left on that 5-minute candle. Do we break 160? Quite a few sellers up here. 20 seconds left. take a little bit of profit if I can, and then I might decide to buy for a pullback. If we get a little bit of a pullback here. 6 seconds left. Take a bit more profit up here. I'll look for a pullback at 165 or so, 160. It's actually strong enough to just continue going higher. So it would have been better to, I'm just going to take the rest. I don't want to sit in a halt. Would have actually been better just to continue adding. Usually these penny stocks will pull back pretty consistently, but that was a very strong move for that break. It did break through and pull back once. So when I saw it holding, I added, but I could have continued adding or I could have added back, I guess, for the break of 161. I was a little bit more cautious than I needed to be, but it ended up being a $20 winner, $24 winner. It's not bad. I don't usually trade dip and rips on $1 stocks either. So if I were trading with real money, I would leave this alone. But like I said, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna see what it does. If it resumes higher, then I'll trade a dip and rip on it just to see. We're not including anything in our metrics anyways today because of the scratch day. So resumption is at 9:40 in 30 seconds. ETAR ended up selling off. EXR is still kind of just going sideways underneath VWAP. B is the one that is up 125% right now. I'm going to set my order 187 here. Looks like it's still resuming flat, which is kind of interesting. So 1 minute till resumption. So dip would be at around 170. Looking for the squeeze up to 2. think this could be a complete dud because I've never dip and ripped a penny before, but we'll see. It's resuming flat. I don't normally do dips on flat either. It's not very bullish. We'll see what it does in 30 seconds. But I do like that increasing volume on the 1 minute. Two, 1, 0, go. A lot of sellers at the ask there. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a dip and rip off the bat here because of how many sellers were stacked up at the ask. See that high volume selling on the 1 minute? So the first red flag was opening flat. The second red flag was the 60,000 shares of selling orders just sitting at resumption. So it needs to do a proper pullback if it fails to break through the 20 EMA on the 10-second here. And we might see first candle to make a new high above 172. We got 10 seconds left on that candle. We'll take a position looking for first candle to make a new high. Take a bit of profit up here. We failed to break. I'm just going to take the rest. Got a bit of a topping tail at 180. So decided to take the rest before it dumped there. Now we've got a little bit of a cushion. We got a $40 cushion. I had a cushion before. I could have taken bigger size on that second trade. But I decided not to. Partially because of these higher volume selling candles, pretty close to high volume selling of the 1 minute and 2 minute had a bit of a divergence. We're still holding the 20 EMA on the 10-second. What I could have done was, which I was originally planning to do actually, was, buy for the break of 168 and then buy 1 minute candle to make a new high at 172. So then I would have been in with half size instead of just quarter size. We have a little bit of an ABCD pattern forming above 170. So first candle to make a new high, stop is 170. And that ABCD pattern looking for the squeeze up. Having trouble pulling away here, so I'm going to take some profit. Do we break 180? We don't, so I'm just going to take the rest. The high is 186. We actually broke, so I'm going to add back, looking for the squeeze up to 2. Back out. So I gave back a little bit of profits. We're back to $53. We'll see what happens here. Otherwise, that would probably be the end of my trading at the open. High is 188. I did sell a little bit early, I think, on these two 200s. Probably could have held a little bit longer for the pop and back up to 188 so that I didn't have to get out. Or so I didn't have to get back in for the break. Would have made an extra 10 cents a profit. So would have been better for me to hold for this double top. Hold half at least for the double top. But it did seem like it was struggling there. So considering how much it was struggling earlier on in the move, maybe it was best not to get back in for the break. But you never know. At this point, I think MAC is kind of going sideways. MACD's crossing over. That's probably where I would stop for a gap and go. The move is kind of done. Especially if this this candle closes with a topping tail in the 5-minute. The move is kind of over. So just a quick recap here. We have a red to green move, which I didn't take because it was the first 2 minutes of the open, but this would have been fine as an entry here on this candle close at 136. I took the entry for the break of high of day here, but I took a conservative share size for the squeeze up. So it squeezed up, new high of day. First pullback is a bull flag. Bought for the first candle to make a new high. Sold up here as it stalled out. Since it stalled out, it's forming an ABCD pattern here. First candle to make a new high on the ABCD pattern is at 170. But it was having trouble pulling away, so I sold a bit early. As it broke up here, the previous high of day of 186 to 188, I got back in, but it rejected, so I ended up getting back out and giving back a little bit of profits. And then after the basically triple top, that's where you know that it's going to be the end of the move because of MACD crossover. We've been going sideways now, past an ABCD pattern. Topping tail, basically a gravestone doji on the 5-minute. So this move is done until it can curl back up to the highs. That's where I would generally walk away. ATER is also coming back up here. So this actually wouldn't have been bad as an entry here. I think it's, yeah, it's halted right now. It's resuming at 124. This has a higher float, and it's right near high of day, which is 125. Kind of dangerous to get into halts around a resistance level for the dip and rip, because you don't know if it's just going to reject off of 125. But you probably could have got in here on the red to green move on the 5-minute, since you could see that 20 EMA was a previous level of support. It bounced off once back here. It came down and it held, came back up, formed a candle. Probably get in for the second one here, since we double bottomed, came back up through VWAP. Buy at 108 for the squeeze back up to 120 and the halt up. So ATR would have worked as well here for a red to green move. Resumption is at 9:56. 15. I'll stick around to see what this does. And then I'll do my end of day recap.
I guess I should be paying attention to resumption time. I'm just in my own space right now in my head, just thinking. Anyways, so 1 minute till resumption on this. Resuming 4 cents higher, so it's resuming like basically right at high of day, which is a little bit finicky. If it resumes at high of day, it has the possibility of just squeezing immediately. But it's hard to do a dip and rip if it drops below high of day. Unless you see it drop down and then hold and continue higher. It drops down, come back up and hold it and continue higher kind of thing. But this one also has a 8 million share float. So 10 seconds till resumption here. Put an order up at 132, but I might not take this trade. So it pops up there. Bit of a struggle going on. Yeah, that's why I said it's dangerous to resume at high of day. Danger, danger. So I'm not interested in this. Oh, it's actually got a lot of strength coming back up here. But that was 5 million shares of selling volume. That's kind of crazy. I don't think I'm going to trust this though. If you look back here at the open, it rejected with 13 million shares of selling volume on the 5-minute. It's pretty hard to trust it after it does that twice, these high volume rejections. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to do any more trades. So today I said is a scratch day. So I'm not going to include today's gains into my trader view, into my trading logs, even though I'm up $42 right now. Because of a few reasons, like I discussed earlier. The first reason is that I started the day off down $10 because of NEXR. Well, basically a bunch of brokers were going offline because Amazon Web Services were down and the simulator was lagging and there was a lot of brokers down, so price action wasn't behaving like it usually does. So it's not useful to include that into my metrics, considering if I was trading with TradeZero, I might not be able to take any trades at all. If the software was down. So if I were trading with real money, I would have immediately stopped, knowing that there were issues with other people's brokers going on today and with Amazon Web Services. I wouldn't have taken any trades at all. I would have just left it alone. Because what I don't want to happen is I don't want to get into a situation where I take a position and then the broker goes down and I'm stuck holding the position as it goes lower because I can't get back in. That's not something I want to happen. So if I were trading with a real broker, would I have made $42 today? No. The answer is no. The second reason is that I made this $53 on BIA, or 8 of it was from earlier, but the rest of it was from trading at the open after basically breaking my rules just to have fun because I knew that today wasn't going to be included in my trader view entries. So I did end up making on it, but it is possible that the reverse could have happened and it could have went lower. But regardless of the outcome, I wasn't planning to include this in my entries. If anyone has any opinions about it and they want to include it in the comments, feel free. If they think I should include it anyways, or how I should treat days like this when there's issues with Cloudflare and web services and all that, feel free to leave a comment. But for now, I'm just going to leave it out of my trader view, and just keep in mind that today was technically not a no trade day, but it was a kind of a dud day. But in the meantime, I'm not going to take any more trades. EDSA popping up here on continuation. But it's higher priced and it's not up enough on the day. So I think I'm gonna leave it alone and just end it here. Thank you to everyone who stopped by and watched today. I'll be back at it tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, same as per usual. But until then, take care, stay green, and I'll see you next time.